Is the FA racist? Do they care about racism? Those are the questions I'm asking today in this special video on McKola TV, speaking about and discussing the events surrounding Eni Aluko, Mark Sampson and the England women's national team in what has been an absolute shambles for the Football Association. Not the first time either that have been embroiled in a racism scandal which they've just failed to handle correctly, and it's left me asking, are they racist? Do they care? What the fuck is going on at the FA after this absolute shambles? Now, if you guys don't know, I will sum up exactly what has gone on in this Eni Aluko case, and I will give you my thoughts on what the hell's going on at the FA, because it's pretty clear they haven't got a bloody clue. So, let's go right back to the start of this case. Eni Aluko first complained about being racially abused in 2016, citing instances that had happened in 2014 and 15 between herself and the manager, Mark Sampson. Once those allegations were made, she was dropped from the team and hasn't played since that day. Hasn't played since making these allegations, despite the fact she had made over 100 caps before then. The likes of David James and others came out blasting Eni Aluko, saying it was a player that was disgruntled with not being selected. David James coming out and saying that. A fellow person of colour not defending one of his fellow professional footballers, and, you know, just sticking the boot in a little bit more, putting the pressure up on her, making the papers, the media and everybody else think she was lying. She wasn't, and she has been vindicated since then. The Football Association held an internal review into this whole thing. They held an internal review and they cleared Mark Sampson of any wrongdoing. They said that he wasn't racist and he hadn't done anything wrong. Eni Aluko still out of the side, still wasn't being considered for selection. This case continued to rumble on, and the FA got a independent review done by Katherine Newton, who is a barrister. Now this Katherine Newton did her independent review and she too cleared Mark Sampson of any wrongdoing. Now this is funny to me because Katherine Newton, who is described as a highly regarded professional, failed to question any of the key witnesses. She failed to speak to Eni Aluko. Who the hell does that? I've got a degree in law, I took it no further, but even I know you speak to your key witnesses, yet this highly regarded professional failed to support her fellow person of colour. That's what frustrates me a little bit more as well. Everyone's moving like Samuel L. Jackson in Django. How can you do over someone like that? Ask them the questions. They are your key witness. Is it because you were paid by the FA to do this independent review that you thought you'd favour them? Were you doing one of your pals a favour? What's going on there? Because you certainly didn't defend Eni Aluko and you certainly didn't question the victim in an independent review. How the hell does that make any sense? Please tell me. Please. If you're going to investigate someone stealing a loaf of bread, if you're going to investigate, I don't know, whatever, someone stealing a car, someone stealing this, racism, an attack, whatever, you speak to the victim, surely. Surely? The fuck you doing? Highly regarded professional. My foot. Not only did she fail to speak to Eni Aluko, she also disregarded Drew Spence telling her that, yo, he is racist. He's done something similar to me as well. She just disregarded it completely and still cleared Sampson of any wrongdoing. Strange, strange, strange. Despite these two reviews getting done, FA's own review, the independent review, that was shocking, the FA paid Eni Aluko £80,000 hush money. Bro, why are you paying this girl money if she's lying, if she's not, you know, if this didn't happen? Why are you paying her money? If it didn't go down the way she said it went down and Mark Sampson's cleared of wrongdoing, why are you paying 80 grand? Why? Why are you doing it? Doesn't make any sense to me at all. Now apparently this hush money was to avoid disruption to Euro 2017. Interesting. More like avoid disruption to the coffers and the money going into the pocket of the people at the FA. Because that's all they care about, is their product and looking bad. They don't want to look bad in front of other people. They don't want people to be saying, oh, the FA had an issue of racism there. They want to be seen as the bastions of the game, the best football association and the best governing body in the game. Listen, that's bullshit. You're not. You're a shambles. Now, this is where it gets a little bit funny to me. Sampson was sacked last month by the FA. Alright? He was sacked last month by the FA. And the sacking was made and it wasn't linked to anything regarding the racial abuse of Eni Aluko. His sacking was done and it was for inappropriate and unacceptable behaviour while he was manager of Bristol City women's side. So, apparently the FA had done this report and done an investigation and whatever, done their background checks on Mark Sampson. Once they made him manager, they had this report, still made him manager. And then after he was manager for a year or two, they thought, hold on, let's read this report. Let's read this report and find out what's actually going on here. They read the report and they found some unacceptable behaviours, some wrongdoing in the past, a relationship with a player that shouldn't be going down between a manager and a player. Seems rather convenient to me that the FA would sack a man for a report they've had for years sitting on their desk just before it comes out that he racially abused a player and they were wrong to defend him and clear him of wrongdoing. Sounds a little bit convenient to me, doesn't it? Looks like the FA were just covering their back yet again. A little bit like that £80,000 hush money to Eni Aluko. What a bunch of wankers. And who the hell does that? Who does a report on someone and doesn't read it until they're already in the job for years? Who does, like, really, who does that? Imagine this, a school's going to employ a teacher, they do a CRB check on him. They got the CRB check in the post, put it on the table, give him the job anyway. A year later, they check his CRB check and he's a pedo. Who does that? Nobody does that. Fucking idiots. Covering their own backs yet again. They're a spineless bunch down at the FA. A spineless bunch. And this isn't the first time they've been unable to handle anything but a problem with racism. You want to kick racism out. And talking about kick it out, fuck them too. What did kick it out even do apart from give t-shirts out? And they even got John Terry and Luis Suarez to wear their t-shirts. Huh? Huh? You may as well go give one to Adolf Hitler as well. Kick it out t-shirts to racists. Yous lot are a waste of time too. Now, are the FA racist? This is the question I'm asking. Do they care about racism? And the reason I ask this, because this isn't the first time it has happened on the FA's watch. This isn't the first time. John Terry got a measly 4-game ban and a 200 grand fine for calling one of his fellow professionals an effing black. Can you imagine that? He admitted to saying those words. He admitted to saying those words. Now, he never got found guilty in court because the evidence has to be a lot higher in court. And the court did say his story doesn't make sense, but we haven't got enough evidence to convict him. Fair enough, fuck the court. We all know John Terry was racially abusing Anton Ferdinand. We all know that. The FA still allowed him to keep his captaincy, still allowed him to play whilst this investigation was going on. But Eni Aluko, who was the victim and made a complaint, got dropped straight. How does that make sense? It doesn't. It's one rule for one and one rule for the other. It's that simple. And John Terry, oh my God, don't get me started on that. He would have kept the captaincy if he didn't retire. Do you realise that? The FA were happy to have a racist captain, but they're not happy to stand by one of their racially abused players. Dude, give me a break. And then Luis Suarez as well. The media have to take some responsibility for this. Remember the Luis Suarez case? When Luis Suarez admitted to calling Evra a name, a racially abusive name. But the papers started questioning whether Evra was telling the truth, the context of what he was saying, this, that and the other. Looking for an excuse for Luis Suarez not to be seen as a racist. And looking for an excuse for Patrice Evra to be seen as a liar. The media has to take some responsibility here. We already know the likes of The Sun, The Mail, etc., are full of racists anyway. But people in the media need to stand up. When these things are happening, stand up. We don't need the likes of David James fucking sticking his boot into Eni Aluko saying she's unhappy she hasn't been selected. We need people standing up for these guys, standing up against these people that are actually being found to have done these things, instead of sitting by and saying, oh, it's not happening here, seriously. No racism here at the FA. Honest, look, he's been found cleared of wrongdoing. We did an independent review as well. And we fucking paid the victim hush money. How does that make sense? You can't clear someone of wrongdoing and give the victim hush money. Which one is it? The FA may not be racist, but they surely act like it. Only a racist would defend a racist, right? And that's exactly what they're doing at the FA. The FA needs a huge shake-up. Kick it out. Need to actually do something. What does that organisation do apart from give out t-shirts? Huh? Remember when United fans were singing a song about Lukaku and they had their big mouth then to come out and say something? But when some real issues are going down, kick it out as silent. Fuck kick it out. Fuck the FA. They ain't going to do anything about this racism issue. And it's not a football problem. It's a world problem. But football can help to resolve these issues. Football can help to make these issues better. Football is something which inspires and affects a lot of people around the world. Yet the likes of the FA, the likes of Kick It Out, the likes of whoever, they're just spineless, man. Spineless and gutless. And the FA just care about themselves, their own reputation, their own pocket and their own finances. And they're too old-fashioned and backwards to fix it. We need a shake-up at the FA. It needs to be revolutionised. And until that happens, we'll continue to see things like this and we'll continue to see an underperforming national team. But underperforming national team goes to the side in these cases. But we will continue to see cases like this and the football teams won't improve either. Guys, that has been my rant for today. Is the FA racist? Do they actually care? Get your comments in below. What do you guys think? What have you made of this Eni Aluko case as well? Get your comments in on that. Subscribe, like and share. Make sure you comment. I've been McKola. I'm out of here.